right now, Elijah Roberts, defensive end for SMU, fresh off yesterday's ACC Media Days, back home, I think. And Elijah joins us on 365 Sports. Young fella, thanks for your time. We appreciate that. What was it like to be a part of that first, official event as a member of the ACC yesterday?
First off, Paul, I appreciate you guys for having me today. I am back home. We just got back late last night, but it was a great experience, man. It was great for us. It was great for our program. It was great for, SMU to get out there. I believe we were the first team to go, so we kicked it off, and, it was a great experience.
Excuse me. You're joining a new conference. You're going to see all new teams this year. Golly, that's embarrassing. Right as I was about to ask you a question. But new conference, new teams. How exciting is it? How nerve-wracking is it? How do you feel about all that? Because, again, you don't know anything about any of these guys, really.
It's definitely, like, I wouldn't say nerve-wracking, but, we definitely know that we have to bring our A game, It's definitely like a sense of urgency, I would say, between our program and my coaches and players, and just knowing like where we have to go and where we need to go for us to, like you said, to be able to compete with these new teams. And I believe roster-wise, through and through, we'll be able to compete for sure.
Elijah, you do have some experience. You were at Miami for 3 years prior to joining the Mustangs last year. What was so I guess you can kind of pass on some wisdom as far as making that ACC transition. But what was your transition like last year, going to Dallas, going to Highland Park, and, playing in the red, white, and blue? What was that like being a member of SMU for the first time, and how excited are you for this second season?
It was a great experience, man. Coming to SMU really changed me, as a player, changed me as a man. Like, it really, being here and just having the connections I was able to build within a year and a half, almost 2 years that I have been here, are going to last me forever. And that's like the biggest takeaway that I want to take away from being at SMU, just the connections that I made, and between alumni and guys who have been there. But yeah, it's been a great transition. And then just going into year two, it's like it's really my first time being in a system for 2 years in a row. So I'm excited to see how I could perform, how I could, just take my game to another level with playing in another system for another year. So the first time really, and playing with the same D-line coach for 2 years in a row.
Elijah, what was the reaction among players? We've had Rick Hart, the AD. We've had Coach Lashley on a handful of times. But what was the reaction among players when the news was official that SMU would be a part of the ACC starting this season?
It was, for me, exactly, it was kind of shocking. I literally just came from the ACC. I played 3 years there. Did 1 year in the AAC. It was like, what in the world are we going right back? It was like, it kind of seemed like it was meant for me. And so it just felt like it was crazy. And that's really was like a big reason on coming back. I just felt like, that was just like a sign, just to come back and be able to do what I did last year in the ACC, since I wasn't able to get the opportunity in my first 3 years in the ACC.
Which team are you looking forward to seeing the most, or is there one?
Honestly, I'm probably say Nevada because they're the first one up. But I'm just so ready to play, man. I just love football so much, and I'm so ready. And it's my last year, so I'm just so ready to show everybody all the work I've been putting in, all the work that we've been putting in as a team. I know our team's ready for sure.
Elijah, we ask players that are representing their schools when we have them on at Media Days. That means there's a reason. That there's a reason for that you're there among 2 or 3 other teammates. What did it mean to you to be someone representing SMU yesterday?
Oh man, it was a huge honor. Like when Coach told me that I was going to be the defensive representative for us, I literally I thanked him a million times, because there's hundreds of guys in our defense who could have gone, who are leaders, who are natural captains, who are just natural born leaders. So for him to pick me, it just really meant a lot for me and for my team. I feel like I was able to go up there and represent as well, and I really am thankful for the opportunity. It was a great experience.
Elijah, when a lot of folks think of college football in Texas, they think of big offenses. Rhett Lashley think of great offenses, but you guys were really good on defense. Mm-hmm. What do you attribute that to? Where did that sort of start, and why did that all come together the way that it did, and how do you think that carries over from one season to possibly this season?
I think it was. I think our defense, honestly, from around this time last year, we just from like the first day of camp, we just knew like we knew we had something. We knew just from the practices, like just the way that we were able to gel together. We had so many new faces on our defense last year that it was kind of like the question was, how can we play together? How can we, get guys to play with each other? Because it's not the same as offense where you kind of need this guy to do this for this guy. But on defense, man, like all 11 guys have to do the job, and all 11 guys have to trust the guy next to him. So that was like the biggest thing for us, just not having guys trying to do too much because they might feel like they need to, and they might have to do that at their previous school or this and that. So it definitely took us a little while, but once we got rolling into fall camp, man, it was like night and day from where we were in spring. So just being able to do that, I feel like was the big reason why we took our defense to another level, because the chemistry was. You definitely need that.
I get the impression from listening to Rhett Lashley, and also even hearing some of what was said yesterday at the media days. This is an SMU team that's excited about being a part of an autonomy for a conference, no doubt. And you have that tie-in, as Craig mentioned earlier, with your time at Miami. But this isn't one of those things you guys are just happy to be there, that you expect to make a dent or an impact. What's that mindset like?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure if like what the outside world thinks. We try not to worry about that, but we know for sure that nobody's like expecting us to come in the ACC and really, shock a lot of people. But that's not really, our main goal. Our main goal, honestly, is just to like stay consistent as a team, because we know the roster that we have built within the past year or two. Like, if we can stay consistent and don't beat ourselves, we're gonna give a lot of teams trouble. So. I honestly believe that we will be able to shock a lot of teams, or I wouldn't even use the word shock, just like you put it, just put a dent into the conference. I truly believe that we'll be able to do that, if not more.
How would you, if you had like one or two words to describe Rhett Lashley, what would they be?
There's a lot of words I use for Rhett Lashley. I'll probably say fiery in a good way and in a fiery way. He could definitely show his emotion in tons of ways. And then I would say, I said a lot of yesterday. He was more, it's not one word, but this is like a phrase for him. He's like a player's coach. Coach Rhett is very much a player's coach. The most player's coach I've been around. Like, he knows what his players want and needs, and he knows how to communicate with us. And he gives us such like truth and transparency. There's no like gray with him. There's no like guessing what he wants, what he likes, what is this, what is that. He tells us what it is, and those are probably the two like biggest things about him for sure.
You seem to be very much as happy as you can be with where you are, and as you mentioned, finally getting another year in the same system. You grew up in Miami. That's where you went initially, and then you left. How difficult was it to leave Miami, Florida, and to move on to find something that was a better opportunity for you?
Oh, it was extremely hard, man. Like you said, I'm from Miami. I was a Miami Hurricane fan my whole life. Like, that's like really where I knew I wanted to be at. Like, I got the offer, and I told my parents, like if I take another visit, it's really just to take it, because I know where I'm going. So leaving there, it was hard. Like I was gonna leave my second year, but then I was like, no, I think I'm staying. Try to fight it out, compete, this and that. But after the third year, I just felt like, it was kind of like sink or swim. I didn't have any much time left. I only had 2 more seasons left to play. I felt like, my time had gone, and it was definitely hard to leave. I did not want to leave. It's hard to leave Miami. It was hard to leave the program. It was hard to leave my hometown, my family. But it was definitely for the better.
So you have this season. Obviously, there's also the future, but you got to stay focused on now. But do you think much about life after college football and what's next?
Not really as much right now, but I definitely have to, that's definitely something that I definitely talk about with my team, my parents, my sort of like agent or whatever. So I definitely have those talks, because, you'll be a fool not to think past football. Mm-hmm. We're way more than just football players, so you kind of have to think about that, of course.
How would you describe, Elijah, what the last, not just your career, but how college football and athletics has changed since you enrolled in playing college football at Miami and now where you are with all the changes?
Oh, man, it's been crazy. Since I've gone to college football, well, my first year in college football was COVID, so that was a crazy year within itself, playing with no fans in the stadium and doing that stuff for the first time. That was a little different for sure. And then I think the next year the transfer portal opened up or something like that, and they started the whole transfer portal thing. And the year after that was the NIL started, so it was like every year it's just been like something kind of crazy. But I definitely do believe transfer portal and NIL are in the benefit of student athletes. You know, it's just the way you use it. You know, it's the way that you look at it, and it's the way that you approach things. Some people, I believe, transfer maybe too early, or they may stay a little too long and transfer too late when it's too late. You know, and then as far as like NIL, it's all about how you take it and how you use it. Some people, you know, might use it for the wrong reason. Some people might not. So I definitely feel like in the greater sense, it's definitely beneficial for student athletes, the portal and NIL.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, the way things have changed. We appreciate your time. Good luck. You got a great personality. Stay who you are. I'm glad Christopher Smith set this up for us, and appreciate you having a chance to go to Media Days, fly it on that big, beautiful private jet, and then getting back in time. Enjoy whatever time you have left. I know workouts are going on. Thank you for your time today.
No, sir. I appreciate you guys so much. Have a great day. Have a blessed day.
Absolutely. Elijah Roberts got a chance to play at the next level. Very good player. Craig, you brought this up. You hear about SMU, the offense, et cetera, but their defense was stingy and among the best in the country when it comes to statistics as well.
Yeah, it was a top